Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Kevin Dolan, writer and author of Little Fag, A Journey of Self-Acceptance and Healing. It is my memoir. And today I will read from chapter 3 of the final section of the book, page 313, and the title of the chapter is Surrendering is When the Deepest Listening Takes Place. Hawaii. After leaving Maui from my first visit in August of 1984, I felt it ever present, sitting hazily on the edge of my thoughts. Its call to me became louder, more incessant, like a lifelong wise friend reminding me not to forget them. I journeyed there, I journeyed back. Each time the pull and the whispers from the slopes of Haleakala, Maui's sacred volcano, grew in volume. Not in my lifetime had I honored such a call. As Hawaii kept pulling at me, I felt it lure me with the promise of a gift. It mattered not what I felt the gift was. What mattered most was the promise. The message was so clear. Something was waiting there for me. What I braved. As I sat at Maui's airport in 1993, arriving for a scouting mission of the island, I noticed a young man sitting across from the baggage carousel. I sensed he had a message for me. In no time, he wandered towards me and asked, "What called you to be here?" Immediately I shared, as I pointed south, Haleakala, the volcano. My higher self knew exactly what it was I was doing when I ventured to witness a sunrise at the summit of Haleakala in 1984, my first visit to Maui. Maui is a space that is unique and tranquil, and full of ma and mana. In Hawaiian culture, ma is a form of spiritual energy and a healing power that can exist in places, objects, and persons. Mana is a spiritual quality considered to have a supernatural origin, a sacred, impersonal force existing in the universe. It is the Hawaiian belief that there is a chance to gain mana and lose mana in everything that you do. It is also the Hawaiian belief that mana is external as well as an internal energy. Certain sites in the Hawaiian Islands are believed to possess strong mana. The top rim of Haleakala, the volcano, is one of those places. Maui is one of the Earth's great chakra points. I learned that Maui's energy is especially helpful to those who are recovering from illness or addiction. There exists sacred energy vortexes that can be quite beneficial in supporting a person's recovery process. The young man that spoke with me at the airport said, "The sacred places of Maui are healing and magical. They touch people in unique ways that can restore individuals. My work is finished here. I'm flying off to another energy vortex in Sedona, Arizona. I know you will heal well." I remember feeling all types of energy from Maui on my initial trip as a closeted married man. Maui's energy felt, and I have researched it, it's in a sense paranormal in nature. The activity is redolent of different spiritual beings. Add to that, there's plenty of different energetic stuff happening behind the scenes. All these forces seem to have one common intention: to raise my energetic vibration. My job was to show up. The energy and insights I felt, which were always with me even after departing the island, recharged my chakras. The call to return the island never left me. Kanaka Maoli, native Hawaiians with whom I spoke while on this scouting mission, shared that Maui would be clear whether I was to be on the island. My job was to listen. There's actual science behind why Maui radiates its special kind of energy. Certain of Maui's rocks are full of iron oxide. Iron is highly magnetic, something I discovered in 1984 when I sat at 5 a.m. waiting for the clouds resting in Haleakala's crater to rise. There were things that I was carrying that this magnetic energy stirred up. I wasn't allowing the full energy of my body to move. Haleakala began to support this energy to be broken up. Working through the blocks and everything that I'd put in my way was an integral part of breaking old habits and dysfunctional addictions. Unknowingly, at least intellectually, I let this energy stir me. As I began to listen to the energy of Maui welcoming or not welcoming me, I knew I had to be open to its magic. My intentions were magnified with intensity. Maui as a place can be very intense. It's only intense because it's a new vibration that's at a really high frequency. Its vibration began to help me realign, heal, and become conscious of it. I'd noticed the magic of Maui immediately working for me. While working out at a local gym, I struck up a conversation with a lovely man who was intrigued by my story of what brought me to Maui. He shared, "This island draws many people to help them heal. Sadly, many are not open to its call." He quickly shared that he was a marine biologist overseeing Maui's humpback whale marine sanctuary and invited me for dinner that night. Over dinner, he told me, "This is what makes Maui's energy so intense. It is a sacred place that's an embodiment of healing energy. It's up to us to bring up our level to this new vibration so that we can vibrate at that level all the time." A little dazed, I replied, "Is it true, along with Maui being a sacred place, that Maui possesses energetic vortexes that can be refuges to take a step back and reset ourselves?" He drew a long breath and added a pause to his reply. "You don't have to stay within the confines of the collective consciousness or the programming of your life. You can come to Maui to be free of it while you're here." I loved the appeal of that. He knew I wanted to connect with my true self, but sensed I may not know the energies of Maui could help me make that reconnection. I learned that Maui, as an energetic place, could be powerfully impactful to me in hitting my body's reset button. I knew he had something profound to share, but I had no idea of its enormity. He leaned across the table, held my hand, and said, "Experiencing Maui is a way to experience yourself in a new way. Think of this trip to Maui as a sacred journey. This may entail creating the space inside yourself for this to happen." With that, he offered me to stay in the old home which had been fashioned as the Humpback Whale Marine Sanctuary for as long as I needed. He graciously said, "I'm off to California for a conference tomorrow. You think about it and let me know when I return. I'll check in with you on my way back." Suddenly, I remembered the words of native Hawaiians, Kanaka Maoli, that I'd spoken to. Maui will be clear whether it wants you on the island or not. What I braved was spending nearly a year, a sacred year, living on Maui. The Humpback Whale Marine Sanctuary became my sanctuary. The island taught me to listen to the divine voice within me. I used to share my story, stating how powerful the island of Maui is. Then one morning, I awakened after a dream and knew that Maui had spoken to me. Maui said, "It is you who are powerful. I've always been here to reflect your power back to you. It is time for you to reclaim it." The unlearning. Aging used to be terrifying for me. Hawaii helped me see it is really about growth. I was taught, especially as a gay man, that aging meant decline, not decline in grace-filled ways either. Since embracing the energy of Hawaii as my home, it seems aging has created new opportunities for me with very few challenges. The first would be a love. That, of course, is my husband. He embodies a youth-filled energy and philosophy for life, both of which are supported by this amazing Hawaiian culture. Aging allows me to contribute to my life and my friends and family's lives without being a burden. I am proud to continue to add love to my life by keeping my heart open. I'm blessed to feel young. It is less important how I look. My attitude and optimism define my spirit. I'll look to the advantages I have, not to what I perceive I may lack. The Hawaiian culture has a powerful connected energy. Well, here, love continues to grow in my life, for myself and those dear to my heart. It takes the form of aloha. Although writing is dear to my heart, the ancient Hawaiian culture had no writing. The role that the spoken Hawaiian language played in the daily life of ancient Hawaiians was huge. I love that mirror for me. Having found my voice in this lifetime, being here and having a connection to the Hawaiian people, it continues to support my growth. I've become empowered to choose change. It is, along with my death, the only guarantee. It happens all around me. I love a Hawaiian honu, known as a green sea turtle. It's tattooed on my right calf. It symbolizes good luck, endurance, and long life. In Hawaiian culture, it is my guardian spirit, known as Amakua, and I borrow it culturally with significance and permission. It seems whenever I venture to the water, it always blesses me with its presence. I love the reminder I feel from it to actually move slower. Hawaii has inspired me to continue to honor my body. I'm amazed how well it serves me. I've spent years terrified of my past. This present and the future were not places I like to contemplate. Residing in Hawaii's energy has inspired me to look forward. New memories abound, and all my relations have strengthened. I've ditched the stuff that could tie me down. If something comes into my life, I choose to have something leave. It's how I stay light from the perspective of owning things. Our home, our hale, in Olelo or Hawaiian, is filled with experiences, not things. It helps us measure and treasure the nows we've created here. Hawaiians are quick to extend a hand. They've taught me to be the first to reach out, first to apologize, and to do that before someone dies. I have many friends who will never celebrate an upcoming 65th birthday. They never made it. Time is my friend, not my foe. The unlearning for me is to remember that in making it to my 64th, it is about the time I've gifted with and for, about the choices I've made and how I've spent this time. Let me reread that. The unlearning for me is to remember that in making it to 64, it is less about the time I've been gifted with and more about the choices I've made in how I've spent this time. I appreciate and am profoundly grateful for the accomplishment of these gathered years. I'll use all my experiences and, yes, my wisdom to enjoy the next 10, 20, 30, or more. My plan is to give away as much of my time in service of loving and being loved. Can you remember anything in your life, a calling of some sort? Maybe it was to be something. Maybe it was to do something. Maybe it was to meet someone. Maybe it was to accomplish someone. Did that calling and does that calling, if it's not been honored yet, is it incessant in nature? Do you always hear it? Does the outer world reflect back to you that it's still there? That's kind of how I held this notion of wanting to live in Hawaii from grade 1. And having made the journey and shared that story with you in terms of how it was done and how I land with that privilege today is a little heart and mind-boggling when I take it in. Just the other day, I walked into the office here that my husband works out of, and I sat down and said to him, "How did I get here?" And he turned and looked at me and he said, "What exactly do you mean?" He said, "I have this perspective on my life that you don't have. The perspective of growing up as a Dolan, with all of that complication, all of that dysfunction." I said to him, "It seems like the tide was against me. And yet here I am. I'm sitting with you. We have a beautiful home here. I look out the window and see nothing but ocean. I was the welfare boy. I was the boy who was terrified. I was the man that for 29 years had no voice. I was surrounded with enabled dysfunction. My dear siblings, whom I love and have love for, were really challenged to use addiction to layer over top of the pain they felt because of it. And when I say this, I don't mean by any means I'm better than them. I said to my husband, how did I not do that? And of course, I knew he had no answer to it. It was a bit rhetorical. He did say, I have a sense of how you've done this. Can I share it with you? And I said, yes. He said, you're driven by intention. And when you land on an intention that's crystal clear and you put it out, and trust when you put it out to let it go, I've always heard you say to me, he said, you walk towards it and it walks towards you. That magic begins. Right? The energy of intention, I understand, is the same energy that the divine universe and God uses to create. It's about yes. And I watch you use intention all the time. And then he says you do something that is really quite significant, that I'm actually really in awe of sometimes. He continued. It is you begin to be in action around what it is you feel you need to do in order to actually allow that intention to come into your life. I said, say more, please. Give me an example of that. He said, your book. He said, I don't know how long ago, maybe 20 plus years, you whispered to the universe that you were going to write. You had people say to you, don't die with a book in you, Thomas. He said, then, well, being in love with you nearly 7 years ago, I watched. And step by step by step, you took, until you sat on the sofa in our living room, which is this spot right now, and opened up the envelope that contained the author's copy of your book. And he said to me, you said, it's quite thick. You thought it would be quite thin. He said, so intention and action towards that intention is my witnessing. It's how it is that I think you've got here. It was a great reminder because, of course, I live by this. I actually said to a friend yesterday that I was supporting, who's the only person you cannot see when you walk into a room? Yes, it's you. My dear husband could see me in ways that I could not see myself. Right? The friend that I sat with yesterday, I could see her in ways she could not see herself. And when I'm willing to be a student to that person's reflecting back to me who it is that I cannot see I'm being, the gifts from that are absolutely amazing. So although I walked into that room utterly unknowing how it is that I got here, I left. I walked into that room with the greatest love of my life's perspective on how it is that I've accomplished some of these things I have in my life. And of course, the trail and the journey to Hawaii, which obviously includes him, is well documented. I don't need to say any more about that. But here's what I'll leave you with. Intention, the power of it. My job is to be crystal clear. In grade 1, I said I want to live in Hawaii. I never lost that. And then when I felt a call in 2009 to fold up a consulting business and come to Maui to sit for a month, it's where, after a 20-minute conversation, I begin to fall in love with the man that's now my husband.